Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Retreadcast. We're live today from Bangkok, Thailand, from TyreXpo Asia. And today we've been doing the Retreading conference for TyreXpo Asia, and we've been talking specifically about markets for retreading in different parts of the world. So we've had 4 eminent speakers from different global regions. We've had presenters from North America, South America, Asia and Europe. And afterwards we got to speak to all 4 of them. So the first question I asked all 4 speakers were what were the key characteristics of their 4 individual markets and what separated the characteristics of their market compared with the other global regions.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is unique about the US market is that you have the retreading industry concentrated with some really big players. So Bridgestone, Bandag, Michelin, Oliver, Goodyear, Marangoni, Vipal. I mean, that comprises the vast majority of the market in the US. And I think those players are able to take the benefits and the research and the technology that they have on the new tire side of the business and bring it across to retreading. And then they also sell an entire suite of services that goes with retreading. So they can sell the new tire, they can sell service. Data is becoming increasingly important in what the fleets are using, and they're partnering with the tire companies to get information about their tire programs. And so I think that's, there are very big, large retread companies in the US that are also serving really big fleets. And it's a great partnership between them, the two of those, to drive down their overall tire costs and their total cost per mile by utilizing retreads in their operation.
Well, currently the European retreading market is facing decreasing moments in terms of volume, and this has also reflection on the number of the companies in the sector. In most of the countries, the number of retreaders has been decreasing in the last years. Sometimes also by some mergers between the smallest one who need to join their forces so as to face the decrease of the volumes sales on the market.
Well, if you see the 6 countries that I'm going to talk about today, that means Argentina, Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, Uruguay, and Chile, I would say there's a quite different situation with the countries with anti-dumpings. That means Argentina and Brazil, compared to the retreadability index in the other countries.
So I think the biggest thing about Southeast Asia, especially compared to other regions, is the disparity and kind of almost the unorganized nature of the retreading industry. There's not very many threads that flow through it everywhere. So, the disparity between Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia is high. And then even when you look at the countries in general, the difference in some Thai retreaders versus other Thai retreaders, it's a lot. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of different processes, a lot of different routes to market. So there's a lack of cohesion, I think, is probably the best way to describe it.
Next I wanted to find out what were the individual challenges that retreaders were facing in different regions around the world.
Yeah, I think, we just recently did our annual State of the Industry survey with our members. And, the things that the number one challenge that they're facing, which is not unlike many other companies in the US, is finding, training, and keeping employees. And so I think we're trying to do what we can to help our members with that. And then I think the concerns about supply chain issues, whether it's bringing stuff into the U.S. or even with some of their U.S. partners, and then costs and some of the regulatory issues that we might face in the future, and then obviously the impact that imported tires, especially low cost and what I consider low quality imported tires, those are sort of consistent in terms of the top 5 issues that our members face.
Well, in this moment, the retreaders in Europe are facing a lot of problems that sum up together. One, of course, is the ongoing pressure from the low-cost imports from Asia, mostly, which still keeps hitting the markets a lot. Also, the inflationary costs of the raw materials has been penalizing the retreaders in the latest years. And beside this, also for some markets, the transportation sector sees the presence of very small companies with a lot of competitiveness within each other, so they are not able to invest to improve the quality of the replacement tire.
Well, the key challenges would be how to liaise with governments on regard to informal retreaders that are occurring in Peru, in Ecuador, Colombia, and also in Chile.
I think, I sound like a broken record, but the biggest threat is the import of cheap new tires, and I don't think many retreaders have worked out how to deal with that properly yet. So I think the biggest threat is that. The second biggest threat is the lack of professionalism in a large part of the industry here.
My next question was, what were the key opportunities that the retreading industry needed to take advantage of worldwide in order to improve the position of the retreading market?
Yeah, I think, at the heart, retreading has some really great benefits. Massive cost savings without any sacrifices in performance and reliability, massive environmental savings, and which is becoming increasingly important to fleets. So they have environmental targets that they want to hit, and retreads can help them do that. And then I think some of the other opportunities for retreaders in the US, the increasing adoption of electric vehicles, given their increased weight and torque, leads to a lot quicker tire wear, and so it creates some opportunities for the retread industry there. The increasing importance on last mile delivery vehicles opens up a new segment potentially for retreading with those smaller size tires that they may not have serviced in the past.
Well, of course, the European companies in this moment have big important expectation from the public regulations. Mostly they expect the new European directives to improve and give support to the eco-design and remanufacturing industries, so as to reduce the environmental impact of all our activities. They expect the European institutions to keep on defending the market from the dumping imports from Asia, and to promote further the best practice in transport.
I would say that how retreaders in South America can work with the government through circular economy topics, such as Extended Producer Responsibility Law and Right to Repair Act.
So I think the opportunities lie in two directions. One is, again, going back to the organizational side of things. So if somebody could work out how to, really streamline a retread operation and scale it properly, with very nice branding, very outward appearance, I think they'd be in a very strong position. Because then you're not necessarily so reliant on talking about price all the time. And then I think the second largest opportunity is within sustainability. So expanding the supply chain essentially to include kind of a full circular economy offering. And I think retreaders, especially in Southeast Asia, are perfectly placed to expand out into that sector.
My final question was, what do independent retreaders need to do to survive and prosper in the challenges of today's market?
Yeah, I think, there are independent retreaders that are serving very specific customer segments and serving them very well. And I think it's about, but the challenge for them is still providing a suite of services that their customers are looking for, whether that's, still, are there some new tire options that go along with their retreads? Do they have the right service components for them? Do they provide other benefits in their particular segment and in their particular geography? And I think a lot of it is also down to having a great customer relationship. And a lot of these independent retreaders have fostered and developed very strong relationships with customers in these areas. And it's about doing everything that they can to make sure that their customer is happy. So there's still some great opportunities for independent retreading in the US.
Well, of course, the independent retreaders are in the most complicated situation in this very moment. Of course, they need to join their forces to cooperate as much as possible in order to promote some share campaigns to keep on promoting the retreading as a high-quality service, and find out the way to keep on investing on new technologies, because this is a very challenging point in this moment.
Well, they have to analyze the budget to have a strong relation with a supplier that can collaborate with him during these uncertainty times in the economy in South America.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have the big manufacturing support here that some other areas have. So most of our retreaders are independent, and to be fair to them, most of them have survived a very long time. They've survived, the Asian financial crisis. They've survived, all manner of different regional crises as well. So I think, it is an industry that does survive. But again, I think going back to the idea of professionalizing, there may need to be some consolidation within the industry. I don't think there's as much space any longer for, 50 retreaders, 50 small retreaders. There needs to maybe be 10 larger retreaders. So I think that's kind of the direction that's going to have to be traveled.
Thank you for watching today's special edition of the Retreadcast from Bangkok, Thailand at TyreXpo Asia. We hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. And we hope to see you again very soon on another edition of the Retreadcast. Until then, stay safe.